So if you really think about the fact that we are in a world where people have to go to work to do a job that, by the way, man, if there is a dude you need to get on this podcast, and there's a book that you would love. David Graeber wrote this book called Bullshit Jobs. This guy is a fucking genius, man. And this book, Bullshit Jobs, breaks down the phenomena of how many people are working in jobs that don't do anything for the world or the company they're working for. And it's not like this judgmental thing where he's like, yeah, that's a bullshit job. You're a blah, blah, blah. He's like an anthropologist, so he's very precise. But one of the qualifications for your job to be a bullshit job is that it's really kind of a worthless job.
We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to review a book. Yeah, I know, right? A book? People still read those? Well, what are books anyway? What is this, the prehistoric times? Believe it or not, I actually do try to read about, I'd say, 24 books a year, something like that. I do try to keep myself, in the flow of things. And this is one that I found to be very exceptional. Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. Have you ever felt that you were in a position where you're not a productive member of society, or you're being paid to do non-existent work that doesn't actually need to be done? Or if you know anyone that's like that, that's felt that way, this is definitely the book for you. So it was in the early 20th century that the economist John Maynard Keynes had predicted that within 100 years, referring to today, our society, Western society, would be working 12 to 15-hour work weeks due to advancements in technology and automation. His prediction didn't actually come true, and it's the economist David Graeber that has a very detailed theory as to why he was wrong. It's the abundance of bullshit jobs that don't actually need to be done. And he goes in detail. This was originally published from an article he wrote in 2013, and he got a lot of feedback and decided to elaborate that into an entire book. And it can be summed up pretty much as following. Here, I'm going to put on my glasses right here. I'm going to read just a little section. He says that he believes that, quote, huge swaths of people spend their days performing tasks they secretly believe do not really need to be performed. It's as if someone were out there making up pointless jobs for the sake of keeping us all working. The moral and spiritual damage that comes from this situation is profound. It's a scar across our collective soul. Yet virtually no one talks about it. How can one even begin to speak of dignity in labor when one secretly feels one's job should not exist? Now, Graeber uses a lot of really good writing techniques here. For example, what he'll do in the second chapter of the book, if you have to read one chapter, definitely read the second chapter, even though nobody only reads one chapter of a book. But still, if you have to read chapter 2, what he does is he categorizes all the different types of bullshit jobs, which I can show you in this clip right over here.
There are flunky jobs, which are basically people who just are there to make someone else look good. A lot of people sitting around offices say they basically don't do anything except pass emails to someone and say, no, that's spam, or, they're just there because if you don't have someone sitting in your desk, you're not actually a real executive. Then you have what I call goons. Goons are people who are basically there, you don't need them unless somebody else has them. Sort of like armies, right? If nobody had an army, no one would need an army. Same is true of corporate lawyers, telemarketers, all kinds of people like that. The next one is, I call them duct tapers. Duct tapers are people who are there to fix a problem that does not need to exist and everybody knows it. It would be sort of like if you have a roof in the house, instead of getting a roofer, put a bucket down and hire someone to empty the water every half hour. A lot of corporations do that. They'll hire someone just to deal with the damage of the fact that something is badly organized because it's easier than fixing the problem. Then there's box tickers. Box tickers are people who are there to allow an organization to say they're doing something that they're not doing. And then finally, taskmasters, who are basically middle management. They're people who are there either to supervise people who don't need supervising, which is most of middle management. People write to me all the time. They say, I'm supposed to be making them work. No, they'd work all by themselves. And, I have to pretend I'm doing something. So I make up these numbers and they do box ticking exercises or something.
Now, just in case you didn't get that, all seem like some vague terms, but he does a really good job because he puts dozens of anecdotes. That's right, first-hand accounts of people that reached out to him describing the tasks that they did and just how obsolete that they were. He even uses this one guy whose job was, when he was a concierge at a hotel, just to press the button to open the door repeatedly. Like, instead of just getting an automated door or having people open the door themselves, if that's like an actual thing, he actually was paid to do that, and it was a pointless task. The one that I thought was really engaging because was a post-production assistant at a video and TV company, and I was engaged by that because I do post-production. I edit my own videos, obviously, and I've interned for post-production at companies before. But anyway, this guy, his job was to do special effects for advertisements, meaning to make, say, like, for example, making toothpaste products actually clean teeth, and to make it look like these were very effective products when really they were just lying to customers. So his job was really negatively contributing to society, and that's not very uncommon. Advertising agencies do that all the time. And one anecdote, the final anecdote I'm going to share that again really stuck out to me was this woman who worked at a senior citizens home. She was under the label of what Graeber refers to as a box ticker. Her job pretty much was to survey the patients and residents of the facility and do surveys about the overall state of the place. But the only problem is that all the data that she collected was never actually used. It was just to make the residents feel as if they have a say in things and to make them feel better about themselves. Like, it wouldn't make a difference if she didn't do her job. So again, what I really like is that he really shows, like, from reading this book, just how important an example actually is when you see a person's account of what it means to have a bullshit job that fits his description. And it also, I thought was really great, is that every person that reached out to him, they admitted that their job was bullshit. That's something that's kind of hard to, say, to really admit to yourself that I don't make a difference in the world. I mean, that can be really depressing, and I have also been able to relate to that too. When I used to be an audiovisual technician at a college I won't say the name of, but there were times where I actually didn't do any work, and I was paid to sit in the office and do nothing. First day it was actually kind of awesome, but after a while it really got depressing, and I'm not working that job anymore, but still, he has a really great, Graeber puts forth a really, really good point that I wish more people were aware of, and that's why I really enjoyed reading Bullshit Jobs. My favorite point, not my favorite writing style, I mean, the anecdotes are, a good writing style, but one of the best points that he also makes, Graeber, is how people are more likely to attack someone for having a job that's not really it's sort of frowned upon, but is actually really important, say like a garbage man, a teacher, or a custodian. But at the same time, people that have, jobs working as a telemarketer or financial consultant or corporate lobbyists, those people are actually making more money and for some reason get more respected. I never even realized that until I read it. It was like my head almost got cleared. I wanted to just stand up and clap when I saw that. And Graeber puts a lot more ideas over here that I can't get into. He supports not just education and labor reforms and shorter work weeks, but he also supports universal basic income, UBI. And he really goes into detail and backs himself up with a lot of great economists, including not just Keynes, but also people like Milton Friedman, and quotes David Foster Wallace, who's a fiction writer. This guy really does go in depth, and honestly, if you want to get a better view on things, on how our society works, this is definitely worth a read, I'm sure. You will go, it's 280 pages, but you'll go through it pretty fast. So yes, I'm giving this one definitely, of my recent reads, a very high recommendation. So thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to be, looking at books, but this was really fun to do this one right over here. It was a little change of pace, and hey, if you guys see this, end up reading it, please let me know what you think. All right, have a good night, everyone. Take care, bye.